Hi folks, Nathan Adlin here with the Fastlane Car, the Fastlane Truck, and TFL Now. You must be watching TFL Now because that's where Ask Nathan is. And this is the show where we take your questions and try to answer as many as we can. Now, let's get started right away, but before we do, real quick, like this is the brand spanking new Toyota Tacoma TRD Pro that we took off-road, and we have already several videos with this truck or a truck that looks identical to it overseas that went off-road. So I highly recommend you go to TFL Truck and check it out. All right, let's get right to it. Now this comes from Kyle Hamp. Kyle wants to know, and I have to take this and encapsulate everything so we make it a little bit quicker. Kyle wants to know, why don't we take trucks like the Ford F-150 and the Chevrolet Silverado and the Nissan Titan and whatnot up the Cliffhanger 2.0? It's a really good question. Simply put, this is the least amount of truck that you can possibly use on that trail without getting major damage. This truck is built specifically to go off-road. They have added massive shocks and better suspension all the way around, slightly better tires, skid plates. If we took a regular F-150 up Cliffhanger, we would destroy it. No doubt in my mind whatsoever. So we have to get the vehicles that are built for off-roading. So that would be like the Ram Power Wagon or the Raptor or vehicles like this. So yeah, that's why we do it, because we have to make sure the vehicle is built for it even before we consider going up that hill. However, those other trucks that you mentioned will definitely, at least if they're a four-wheel drive version of it that is built somewhat for off-road, we'll take it up Gold Mine Hill, which is a really good test for these types of vehicles. All right, let's move on. Thank you so much for that question. The question is, I'm looking to get an SUV, but I commute on the highway every day and need to get pretty good fuel economy. But you need all-wheel drive and you want it to look manly. I would recommend something like the Jeep Cherokee Trailhawk. That's a really cool looking vehicle for off-roading, even though most of the people who buy them don't go off-road. So something to consider. Or you could look at its baby brother, the Jeep Renegade. Okay, this is from One Fast 4. I've written before and wanted to know why you guys hold the GTI so high, which I think he's saying in high esteem, when it only puts up 180 to 200 horsepower. It's slow compared to the SRT Ford Neon. Now, for those of you who don't remember, Dodge used to build this little car called the Neon, very lightweight, small car, and at one point they decided to stuff it with a very powerful turbocharged four-cylinder engine and basically took a very lightweight vehicle and made it absolutely monstrous. But the reason we don't cover that car or talk about it very much is because it hasn't been built for years. And because of that, it doesn't compete with what we have today. So today, we have vehicles like the Volkswagen GTI, which, as far as I'm concerned, and you really need to sit in and drive it, okay? I mean, numbers are one thing, but when you sit down and you drive the vehicle, there's nothing like feeling so secure and having so much fun at the same time and being in a vehicle that doesn't feel like a boy racer car. All right, and this one is from Zach K. Love the show. Here's my question. I'm 21 years old and on a slight budget. I'm located in Canada, and the conditions are similar to Colorado. He plays in a band, and he wants off-road capability and winter driving capability. He wants to be able to hold 4 or 5 people and tow a small to medium-sized trailer. He's gone into a few dealerships. He has a friend who works at Volkswagen who's trying to lure him into a Volkswagen, but he doesn't really think there's anything there for him. What do you recommend? What type of truck should I buy? Well, Zach, that's a really good question. It sounds like you're looking at something that is a medium-sized pickup truck, but you said you have a so-so budget, but you didn't specifically give me much to work with. So, I'm going to say to look at mid-sized trucks. Now, granted, if you looked at something like this, over $40,000, I mean, these things get really expensive, but you can find pretty good versions of the four-wheel drive base versions of these trucks. In this case, there is a Sport 4x4, or you could look at the Chevy Colorado, or you could look at the Nissan Frontier, which I know we keep coming back to Nissan Frontiers, but they're really inexpensive and they're really good off-road. Four-wheel drive and some amenities. You're going to have a pretty decent truck for a pretty decent amount of money compared to some of these other ones. If you're looking at anything else in terms of, a crossover or something like that, then you're going to look at more money to have, you know, that type of capacity. So I highly recommend looking at the truck. And if you play in a band, I have a friend who has a older Nissan Titan, and he put a cap on the back of it, and he holds all of his equipment for the entire band, no problem. So there you go. Hope that helps. Thanks for the email, Zach. Also, by the time you guys see this video, we'll be heading to SEMA. So TFL Car and TFL Truck are going to SEMA. That's going to be really, really awesome. I'm excited because it's almost the whole team who's going. Fantastic stuff. Thank you so much for joining me. Very important, guys. Write your question down below, and if it's a question that's already been answered, I'm probably not going to answer it. So try to give, you know, something unusual, unique, something cool. All right? Thank you all. I'll see you next time.